Hello, this demo for DES450 will help you set up SOLIDWORKS. If you're not aware, SOLIDWORKS unfortunately is only supported on Windows. So if you have a Mac, you need to run Boot Camp to install Windows on your Mac. I believe this requires a partition in your hard drive. From previous experience with students, 80 gigabytes for that partition should be enough to support Windows, SOLIDWORKS, Keyshot, and have room for files. As far as other requirements for SOLIDWORKS, they recommend 3.3 gigahertz for a processor and 60 gigs of RAM. Although I think this is a bit overkill, I think I have 8 on this computer, but you can see some of the requirements here. To download SOLIDWORKS, you want to go to the UIC web store and click on Shop Personal Purchases at the top. Here you can search for SOLIDWORKS. I believe Windows is also on here if you need it for your Mac. You should see a free option for a student edition to download. So once you click on that, you can click on Add to Cart. It may prompt you to sign in with your UIN at some point, maybe when you click Checkout or when you click to Add to Cart. So once you reach this page, it's a bit confusing, but it's this like little avocado with a red arrow in it over here to download. You simply just click on that and it should start your download. So for me, it's downloading to my desktop. This is also where the 4 files which I have provided for you were downloaded on my machine. But check your downloads folder if that's where it's gone to. Once this is downloaded, you can run this executional file. This is what my install looks like on my standard license. I don't know if it's different on an educational license, but I assume it's the same. So firstly, it's pretty straightforward. You should be able to just click through the prompts. The default settings and recommendations are all good. So the first step is that it's going to install or download more files. It's kind of like a 2-step process. And then the next step is it's going to install. And I believe there's like a prompt in the middle here that asks you to continue. So just be aware of that. All right, once you have that installed, you should be able to run the program. And you'll probably see a screen something similar to this. The next thing we want to do is get aligned with the 4 files I've provided for you. Of these 4 files, honestly, the templates are not quite as important. They're more of an aesthetic improvement to your files. Your lighting will look better. Your screenshots will look better. The most important thing is this registry settings, where it has my hotkeys saved, which I will have a document for you to show you those hotkeys, but it also has like the same kind of toolbar layout, so that way we're all on the same page. So to load the registry settings, you want to go to Tools and find Save Restore Settings. And here you simply go to Restore Settings, click on Next. You can click on Browse and find your download folder. So for me, in my case, it's on the desktop. You can select this .sldreg file, click Open, leave all of these checked, click Next. It's going to ask you here if you want to create a backup of your existing settings. If you're new to SOLIDWORKS, I wouldn't worry about this. If you've been using SOLIDWORKS and you have hotkeys you like, then definitely create a backup. And click Finish. It will warn you that you're not saving anything. Just click Yes. And there you have it. We should all have the same settings now. All right, the next step is to organize your folders for these template files. So I recommend you make a SOLIDWORKS folder for this class. If you want to work off the desktop, that's fine. For me, I have in my documents folder here, I have a folder for the class. I'm going to right click to create a new folder, and I'll just call it Files. Double clicking on that will open it, and then I'll simply just drag these 3 files into here. I mean, I could even just drag the registry. You don't really need this. Once it's applied, you can delete it. But these template files that end in .dot, you want to keep those because they will be your templates for starting a new file in SOLIDWORKS. So wherever you place them organizationally, just remember that because that's going to be important for this next step. So going back into SOLIDWORKS, you want to find this gear icon at the top and click on it. And in the system options that pop up, you want to look for file locations. It's about midway down here. And you simply just go to add. And this is where, like I mentioned, it's important to remember where your files are located. So, it might default you on the desktop. So for me, again, I had it in Documents, a folder for this class, and Files. And once you find your file, you can simply just click Select Folder. And here you should see it added into this list. Once you're done, you can click OK. You will probably be faced with a couple prompts here. It's asking, would you like to change these paths? You can say yes. This is my computer asking me if it wants to make changes. Just click yes through the prompts and it should work. So now when you go to create a new file, you probably see something like this. But if you want to use the templates we just created, you can click on Advanced and look for the tab that says Files. And provided you did that last step, you should see these three options. So anytime you create a new file, you want to go here. So for example, if you want to create a part, you can click on this. And I'll cover what these three different files are. This is just set up for now. So this is the part with a white background as opposed to a gradiated background, and then custom lighting setup to make your models look better. If you also successfully installed the registry settings, you should have a similar toolbar layout up here, which I'll cover in another demo. The final thing to set up is your backups. So you want to go back to the gear icon and look for backup and recover. Again, it's about in the middle. And these are the settings that I recommend. So firstly, you want to set your auto recover folder. This is important because that way you know where your backups have been saved. This is important if your computer crashes or you forget to save a file. So I would recommend just navigating to the same folder where you put those templates. So in this case, I'm going to go, for me, again, it's in Documents, a folder for this class, and then Files, and then I'm just going to simply click on Select Folder. So that way all of my, automated files for this class, whether it's the autosave or the templates I've created, that way they're all kind of located in the same place. So there's one place to look. So this saves an auto recover every 10 minutes. That way, if you could only ever lose 10 minutes of work. As far as like the number of backup copies per document, what this does is like if you make a change, it will keep the last save you made. I would recommend checking this box and having it set to 1. And again, you want the backup folder to be the same here. I'm actually realizing, I guess you could have it save the backup in the same location as the original, but I would just set this all to the same folder. That way there's only one place to check. I kind of wish that these were just tied together, but I guess they're giving you more options here. And here you can have the backups be removed after 7 days, so that way your computer doesn't get bogged down with too many files. This is just a sort of a notification, a reminder if you forgot to save a file. It'll remind you every 20 minutes, and it'll dismiss it after 5 seconds. Feel free to play with these settings as you see fit. This is typically what I run for mine. All right, so that should have all the basics set up, and you should be ready to use SOLIDWORKS.